Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm here with good old Betty White again today, and we want to go over 10 items that will keep you from potentially being a victim while you're out on the road. So before we get started going over the 10 items, I have a quick story for you guys. Over the summer, I was working on my garden. It was my first year doing it. And this girl and I set out on the highway to get some wood chips. When I got there, I realized that they didn't take plastic. Well, 5 miles back down the road at 70 miles per hour, I went to the store, got my cash, got back into Betty White, put her in reverse, ka-clunk. I had no idea what had just happened. I get out and I look, and this is what I found. Yes, my tire completely came off. Now, thank God it came off when I had got to the store and was just backing out. Because I do live in Montana, we do have some dangerous terrain that you could find yourself in, or at night you could find yourself driving along the highway and easily something like that happening, and boom, you're off the road in a ditch and nobody knows. Let's go over some items that I always carry to keep me at least safe to get by for 1 to 2 days out. Some of these items I always keep in my truck, and I know a lot of you are already thinking, I don't have the room to do this, my car's really small. This may be a truck, but it is a single cab truck. So everything that I store in it is kept behind the seats of the cab. I always keep with me, and this does not stay in the truck, it goes in and out, is what people like to call a go bag. The first essential items that I always make sure I have are food and water. I don't keep too much with me because, again, this is for a 1 to 2 day displacement where you're stuck somewhere looking for help. So I always carry about 5 to 6 bottles of water. And then as far as food, I just carry these. They are a very high calorie dense, almost like a pound cake bar that has the calories and all the essentials that you'll need just to get you by for the 1 to 2 days. I also carry a way to filter water. So if I was to run out of water or something was to happen to those in an accident, maybe they rolled out of the truck and exploded and went all over the place, I always carry a way to filter water. I have this Sawyer mini straw, as well as these water purification tablets. Now, I'm sure if I was ever stuck on the side of the road, abandoned from help, I wouldn't really care too much about this, but I do carry these, which is a vitamin C. I have a really hard time drinking plain water, so I usually carry something like this or little water mixes just to help me stay hydrated. The second item that I make sure to always carry is some sort of first aid. Now, I don't carry anything extreme like splints or, chest vents or anything like that, but I do carry basic first aid. I keep it in this, which is in the go bag, and it's just gauze, medical tape, some basic medications like laxatives, Gas-X, cold medication. And since I'm single, just in case I was to run into Bigfoot and we want to make out, I just carry a little toothbrush with toothpaste and some mouthwash. And the one extra thing for your first aid kit, it's not really a dying situation, although sometimes it may seem like it. If you are a woman, you may want to make sure that you carry those essential items just in case something surprises you. The third item you should always make sure you have, regardless if you have any of this stuff, is documentation such as your driver's license and any type of, bank cards or anything like that, as well as cash. You should probably carry some cash in your go bag. Don't leave it in your car, your vehicle, always bring it in with you. But if you're out somewhere and you happen to lose your wallet, or you're maybe on the road and there's a power outage and you need to get an item that you need and the power is out, if you have cash with you, you're more likely to get that item than not. The fourth item that I always make sure that I have with me is an extra set of clothing and shoes. Now, you want to make sure that it is appropriate for the season. Like I had mentioned, I am here in Montana and our winters can be very extreme. So if you were to get into some sort of situation, you know, off the road where you didn't have help and you had to sustain yourself for 1 to 2 days, maybe you rolled over into water or something like that and your clothes are wet, you want to make sure that you carry an extra, there's more essential lady backup items in here too, but you want to make sure you carry an extra change of clothes, socks. I have leggings in here, I have a sports bra, and then a long sleeve kind of thermal shirt. And then since it's winter time, I just carry these guys in there. You can't go wrong with those. They're mucks. These are the Arctic ones, so they keep your feet nice and warm and dry. I also carry this vest. It has a reflective on it. So if you were to somehow spin out overnight somewhere and spin off the road, and you know, you want to make sure you don't get hit, you're trying to get help, this is something that you could wear so that you can be seen on the road at night. The fifth thing that I always make sure that I have with me when I am out in my truck is light and energy, a source to produce energy and to see what I'm doing. Flashlights are a great way to do that. You know, this I picked up the other day at Walmart. I think it was $2. Going through their camping section and just kind of seeing what they have can be very life-saving little stuff in there. So $2 I got this. I never keep my batteries inside it just because I don't want them to corrode and then go bad and then you don't have a flashlight. So I just keep my batteries, which make sure you have the batteries that go with the actual flashlight that you have. These are AAA. I keep them with the positive end up, store them like that in a little plastic bag. I also have a couple power banks. So this is one that you would just plug in. It fits, it actually magnetizes to the back of my phone. And then this one here is a solar charger, which is great to have. It has a little compass on the back as well as a flashlight. So extra backup flashlight that is charged by the sun. Another thing that I consider energy are these hot hands. This is something, they last 8 hours. You can get a huge box of them from Costco. I think at the time I got these, they were about $20 a box for a big box of them. Each one lasts 8 hours and you can throw them in your pockets and in your shoes if you find yourself overnight somewhere where it's really cold. The sixth item that I always make sure to have in my truck with me when I go somewhere is a means, alternative means I should say, to communication and navigation. So we rely a lot on these things that I'm talking into right now. However, if you were to fly off the road and your cell phone goes flying and it cracks or it breaks, or you're just somewhere where you don't have reception, it's important to have a way to try to reach out to get a hold of somebody to let them know you're in danger. There's a couple different things you can carry. You can carry a CB radio, which will probably be the next thing I want to put in here really bad. And you can also carry this is a GMRS radio. It's a two-way radio. These are actually, they look really fancy, but they're pretty affordable, and I would highly suggest that you get one. It has the NOAA weather station on it, so you can find out, you know, if there's a storm coming, rain, snow, anything like that. So this is something that would be really, really handy to have that you can just throw in a backpack. The antenna comes off, so you can, you know, store it like this. It also has a flashlight on the top as well. So backups are a really good thing to have. You know, you can never overlap too much on things like that, especially when they're just conveniently built in. And I already showed you the navigation part, but it would seem very insignificant, but to know what direction you need to go to get back to where you were could become very handy. I've never been lost myself, but I do know that naturally we walk in circles. So if you find yourself, you know, in the woods somewhere or just somewhere where there's nothing but snow around, you're most likely going to end up going in a complete circle. So this is a great way to make sure you're going the right direction. The other thing that is a great means of communication is a whistle. I didn't bring it with me. It is in the house. But having a little whistle that you can carry with you, if you go off the road and you get hurt or you lose your voice because it's cold outside or you're injured, and you're able to blow on a whistle to get help so that someone could hear you, it could be very, very helpful. The other thing that is another form of communication is, for those of you that are Gen Xers, you remember Scooby-Doo, how they always left a trail of Scooby snacks? Well, I like to carry this roll of marking tape. I guess that's what you would call it, marking tape. So if you're ever somewhere where you're walking and you don't know if you're getting to civilization or not, you can tie this as you go on a low area where someone may find a trail of Scooby snacks and leave it behind the direction that you're going. The seventh thing I always make sure to have with me when I'm out on the road is a way to defend myself if I was to find myself in a situation where I was in danger. So the first thing that you can always carry is a boom wand. If you live in a state where you can carry with you, do so. Always have it with you. You never know when you might need it. And don't forget the fairy dust. Some alternative means to self-defense is a taser as well as a pepper spray. This is a big canister one that I carry, but I have also the little keychain ones. I just have multiple ways to defend myself because you never know. The eighth thing I always make sure that I have with me is sleeping and shelter. So if you, again, find yourself somewhere where you are stuck, maybe you're able to stay in your vehicle, but it's really cold and you're gonna have to sleep in it, then you have something to keep you warm and comfortable until the next day. This here in this garbage bag is a sleeping bag, and I just keep it behind my seat. So if I was to ever find myself needing it to stay warm, it's available. You can also carry trash bags. These are great for a makeshift poncho if you find yourself having to walk in the rain or build some sort of shelter with a tent. You can use this to hang it somewhere and sleep under to stay dry. But also make sure you have some sort of cordage to do so. I always have plenty of cordage with me. I'm always tying down hay when I go pick it up or something like that, or the garbage when I take it to the dump. So have some sort of cordage with you. I have bungees. I just kind of keep a variety of all kinds of things because you never know what you will need. So number 9 that I always make sure to have with me is sanitation and hygiene. This one's pretty simple and basic. I mostly just keep these baby wipes in my go bag. I always have hand sanitizer available because I'm not a germaphobe, but I'm very aware of things that I've touched or been around. I don't like putting myself in situations where I know I can get sick. So the first thing I do when I get in my vehicle from going into the store or anything like that, gas station, is I put a huge dollop of this on my hands and just let it kind of sit. And then just keeping a roll of shop towels is a great way if you have any spills or, again, if you were to cut yourself and you find yourself bleeding or you need to clean up a mess, you just have a little roll of paper towels. So the 10th and final thing that I always make sure to have in my truck with me is a way to build a fire if I was to find myself off the side of the road. So I always carry an axe with me, as well as a handsaw. These are just little wood fire starters. And then I carry a little bit of newspaper inside the bag. And additionally, to help start a fire easier wherever I am, is I always carry these. I call them lint bombs. And what they are, every time I use my toilet paper and I get to the roll, I save the roll and I put my dryer lint in there. So when I clean out my dryer lint, I actually have a little Ziploc that I have hanging on the wall next to my washer and dryer, and I'll clean the lint out and I put it in that little Ziploc. And when it gets full and I have enough of these toilet paper rolls, I just shove the lint in there, and I'll even leave a little bit of toilet paper on there because it couldn't hurt to have it. So these just catch fire really easily. And of course, you want to make sure that you have a lighter to start that fire. I would recommend having more than one lighter and different ways to start fires. I don't have I think it's called a ferro rod. I can't remember how it's pronounced, but the little I'd like to get one. There's a lot of things that I'm showing you today that are just basics that I was able to do within my budget. If I was, a bottomless pit of money, I'd have a lot different things to show you here, but this is just stuff I've done on my own budget and within my means. The other thing that would be good to have with those tools to start fire is a couple of knives. Knives will come in handy, regardless, for multiple reasons, but Just having a few good knives stored away that you can pull out and, you know, scrape it for sticks for little bits of kindling or whatever you may need to use it for hunting. I mean, hopefully, like I said, this is just for a 1 to 2 day thing. If I found myself hunting after the second day, I'd question how much I eat, right, turkey dude? And I also do carry these safety glasses because, you know, if you were out in the woods and you're having to chop wood or do anything like that, or you are lighting fires, I mean, it might be a little overkill, but I had them and I thought, you know, it couldn't hurt to have them in there. So these are the 10 things that I always make sure to carry with me in my vehicle, and I hope that this helps someone. I know for the longest time, I actually, looking back, would call myself quite an airhead for some of the ways I used to just operate without thinking about the what ifs. Not that it guarantees that anything's going to happen to you, but it certainly gives you a head start, and I hope that it helps someone out there. Take care.